All right, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash, and double honor, said the elders and apostles of the millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, Shalom to the brothers out there preaching and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth, Shalom Barakathum. And we're going to get straight into it. It says the WEF and Klaus Schwab have a brand new target. Now, I watched a little bit of this video, but not the whole thing. So through the spirit, we're going to watch it and get a few precepts to speak on the more fuck shit. And to lock you, excuse my French, already this morning, Vex. But we're going to look at the things that Esau's doing throughout the entire earth, man. And you'll just see why we call him the devil. All right, why the scriptures call this guy the waster to destroy, and let's just play it. All right.
Farmer protest movement, something we've been covering at length. Just as a refresher, the Dutch farmers have been pushing back against government efforts to shut down farms and implement, in my opinion, nonsensical environmental standards. Farmers have stood up in protest, driving tractors into cities, making themselves heard. But is it working? Jim Ferguson is a former parliamentary candidate and a businessman and entrepreneur who has been outspoken on this issue. He joins us to talk about this. Thank you so much for joining me.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Natalie.
Yes, first-time guest, but someone that I've followed a lot because in my book, you have a reputation on Twitter for being a truth teller. And so I appreciate that you're speaking out about this. Can you tell me what you think the current state of these protests are? Did they work? Are they accomplishing anything? And why do you think they were there in the first place?
Well, I think they most definitely have worked, Natalie, because they have garnered so much international support now. When you see thousands of people coming out in tractors with their farm machinery to block roads, to protest, it's an inevitable mention to it. But actually, they have had an indirect effect on the Dutch government as well, because Mark Rutte was the Prime Minister there, and his government has collapsed just literally within a week and a half ago. And it collapsed because it was a coalition government. And he, of course, being connected to the World Economic Forum, was attempting to bring in huge numbers of illegal immigration as well.
All right, so you see this guy, his plan is to basically have Europe overrun, all right, because they want to mix and mingle everybody together, because these people, what you find out is they really don't care about borders. They really don't care about landmarks. All right. This guy is called out directly in the scriptures for being one that removed landmarks. So all of those borders that you see across Europe aren't legit. All right. Esau made them over the course of a period of time. And it's been mainly through war and conquest, man. All right. You have the old Soviet Union, which are a bunch of smaller states now. You have the Balkan states. All right. And these were all former kingdoms. Okay, that goes back to those 10 crowns in Revelation. All right. But nevertheless, you can see it's a bunch of borders now, and Esau is trying to blur it all together because he wants everything to be one. He wants everything to be one nation. All right, I'm going to get the precept. You can find it here. Matter of fact, I'll go. Let me see. Yeah, Isaiah 14 and 13 is good, where it says, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into the heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north." All right, and the sides of the north are basically within the borders that Esau has conquered. That's colloquially known as the West. All right, which would be Europe and the Western Hemisphere. All of those different areas this guy has taken over, and that's the root of his pride, man. These nations that he's taken over, man. As you notice, none of these nations speak the original their original language. They all speak some kind of new Edomite bullshit. All right, but they're across several countries because Esau's taking over these lands. All right, and he's basically calling himself the Most High. That's why he wants to unify all of these nations. That's why he wants all of these immigrants crossing the border in Europe, because he wants to blend everything, because he wants to basically rule over everybody, man. All right, and we've seen a similar thing go down in First Maccabees, I believe. Let me see if I can find it real quick. In Salakia. Right. Yeah, when you read this whole chapter, really, man, it's good. Yeah. Let me see. If I search it within it's in First Maccabees, but when you uh when you read this story about what this guy Antiochus was doing, basically what he would do is he would come in. It says he spoke peaceably to him at first, and that's what this guy Klaus is doing. All right, this is First Maccabees 1:30. It says 29. It says, and after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah. All right, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude. All right, this is after they basically surrounded us. All right, because this guy Antiochus basically showed up to conquer, you know, to conquer land. And up here you can see where all the Israelites are basically betraying Israel, man, their own people, you know, to go worship the gods of the Greeks. But look what this guy does, you know. And it says, and after verse 29, and after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector a tribute to the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them. But all was deceit, for when he had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, all right, and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel. This is why we tell you, don't trust the devil. All right, this is why we know that this guy, his days are numbered, and he's getting ready to fuck something up, man. But let's continue to watch.
Well, and his coalition partners said, no, we can't have any more of this. And the government actually collapsed. But that was as a direct result of the farmers' protests standing up and drawing attention to what they were trying to do to them.
Now, one of the things about Mark Rutte's resignation that gave me pause was seeing him in Telegram videos with Zelensky at the NATO summit last week, which made me wonder, does this mean that the policies that drove him out of politics in the Netherlands might be coming to other NATO countries? Is that something that you worry about, or do you think that this might be buried once and for all?
Oh no, it's definitely on its way. It's coming to the United States of America. We've seen that with John Kirby, who's the special envoy for climate change to Joe Biden. We've seen that happening, starting to happen in Canada, and it's going to happen in the UK. They're not going to give up that easily until we effectively ensure that our governments are no longer run by World Economic Forum placemen. And unfortunately, Joe Biden, John Kerry are part of the World Economic Forum, as is Justin Trudeau in Canada,
Yeah,
which
they're
is
all in
in
on it.
his cabinet here in the United Kingdom. And of course, we see the same in France with Emmanuel Macron and Mark Rutte, of course. So we need to ensure that we are putting a stop to that. And the only way we can do it, Natalie, is for farmers and communities, people who are patriotic about their own national sovereign states, standing.
And see, now they're crying out. Now they got an issue with it. You see? Now they want to say something because the devil, their own people, the devil, all right, turned on them now. All right. But wait a minute. Y'all didn't have that energy when we were getting robbed, man, raped, destroyed, killed, tortured. Y'all had none of this energy. Now all of a sudden we got to do something. Now they want to use the so-called black vote over in America to get Joe Biden out because he's got his partners in and they're robbing the world, man. When the scriptures say, you know, with a grape, with a how's it go? Is it a grape gleaner leaves some grapes? You know, this guy is just has to take everything and put his stamp on everything. It don't matter how perfect something is naturally. He's gonna take it and bring it to a lab and edit it and say, look, I made it even better. All right. So you don't need to eat the natural anymore. That's illegal now. Eat what I made. You know? But we knew that this was gonna come, all right? This is James 5:4. It says, behold, the hire of laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, man. Why are they crying? Because now in Sweden and now in Ireland and all these different areas and the Netherlands, all right, what are they doing? They're straight up attacking farms. All right, they're shutting them down. This guy hates nature. He hates order. All right, he hates life. Ultimately, is what you understand when you see what this guy is up to. All right, and this is all for the destruction of wicked niggas and Esau, man, and you other heathen. The elect are meant to be absolved of this, man. Lord willing, I be of that number, and the sincere brothers are too, man. You know, it says, "And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord Yahweh Sabaoth." All right. And the only cry that the Lord is going to hear is that of the elect, man. He's not going to hear you crying about the fraud that you and your own people fomented throughout in the whole earth. All right. It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton, man. And that's what these people have been. They've been comfortable, man. With iPhones and Instagram and DoorDash, all right, and TikTok. All you niggas do is smoke weed all day and talk shit, man. All right. It says ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. So when that day of slaughter comes, it's gonna be real bad for you people because y'all not paying a fucking attention. And when you get told, you scoff and shrug it off. That's okay. All right. Verse 6, ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doeth not resist you. So Esau, we already know what's coming for you, man. All right. We already know.
Up together and saying no more.
Now, can you flesh out this World Economic Forum control mechanism a little bit better? Because a lot of times people hear this and they think, that's not real, that's tenuous, we don't really know. But then we do see power grabs that disenfranchise things that we need to live off of. Fuel, farming, all of those types of things. So maybe you can flesh that out a little bit more for anyone who's just like, oh, I'm not willing to go there yet.
Well, I think we all thought that the World Economic Forum were just a sort of a bit of a club in Davos where they used to meet for business people, industrialists, people that were quite wealthy, and they were just trying to get some solutions to the world's problems. But it's become much more apparent that there is something far more insidious going on. We've seen.
Right. And see, that's hard for a lot of people to believe, but that's Esau entirely, man. It's not just the WEF. When this nigga showed up, with Christopher Columbus showed up here, that's what they were on, man. Okay? They came with this illusion of peace, like we just read in First Maccabees. All right, and we'll read it again actually here in Daniel 8, because it's talking about that same time period. What this nigga would do is he would show up with a Bible in his right hand, all right, preaching to you Catholicism nonsense, and then he'd have a sword in his left hand, man, and you basically would have a choice. And he fucked a lot of Northern Kingdom up. Columbus did, all right, in the islands of Hispaniola, and his men and the rest of the conquistadors showed up, and they fucked up all of Mexico and Central and South America, man. All right. And now you Northern Kingdom niggas will not let go of Virgin Mary now, man. But how did he do that? It started like an innocuous group. Oh, we're just here to spread the gospel, and then all of a sudden you turn around and this nigga got his sword out, man. You know, one minute you having Thanksgiving dinner, you showing them how to, you know, you're showing them how the tides work on the beach to keep their boats down, and then this nigga then got a new projectile weapon called a gun, and he aiming it at your ass, man. That's what happened to Gad, to Asher, to Issachar. All right. Daniel 8:5, it says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. All right, and that's what WEF is doing. This is all craft. They're all coming up with new words, birthing people. They're confounding you with speech. This is all coming from one center, man. They're saying rainbow is not only normal, but if you don't accept it, you're a bad person. And we already know where that's going with credit scores and things of that nature. All right, he's explaining to you why war is good, why we have to go out there and kill, why you have to use the U.S. dollar, why American interests are superior. All of these different things, all right, are coming out of the same dragon. Okay. It says, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. You should hear how these guys talk at this World Economic Forum, man. Y'all, Vari and Klaus, they really think that they're God. They refer to humans as hackable animals, and we're gonna have the power to be above, you know, creation, take over DNA, and all these different things, man. When they don't even understand more than 1% of DNA, man. All right. It says, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. So that's how he comes in peaceably, like we read earlier. All right, to get you to let your guard down. And before you know it, you've let your guard down. And this nigga didn't pass laws. You can't own guns. This nigga didn't pass laws. You can't have a regular bank account without him seeing everything. Okay, this nigga didn't pass laws that you can't use certain words without being shunned out of society. And he got all of you to give all of that up through the guise of peace. But what did he do? He really disarmed you, man. All right, and now you're gonna get destroyed. All right. It says he also shall stand up against princes, against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hands. So that's how proud this devil is, man. When the angels in Yahweh Shai show up, or Yahweh Shai and the angels rather show up, this guy is gonna have enough pride on him to want to fight, man. All right. That's what we're dealing with these guys, man. All right.
The chairman, German Klaus Schwab, who has openly bragged about having penetrated, that's his own words, penetrated the cabinets of most of the Western Hemisphere, and indeed some in the East. So he's not kidding. He's quite proud of the fact that he now has influence with his own people in.
But they're just now admitting it, man. All of these cabinets they've never allowed somebody to be a head of state or a leader or a prime minister and a prominent, but they've never allowed somebody that they couldn't control in those positions, man. All right. And this was all written. And this guy's gonna go across the entire earth destroying shit, man. You know?
Positions of power and authority within respective governments. And one thing that we need to be aware of, Natalie, is these are globalists and they want a one world government that they control. So the independent national sovereign states are an obstacle to that. And one
I'm
thing
gonna go back. Okay.
state,
So when you see words like this in the media and the news, just know that this is code and it's double speak. All right. Remember the dragon. All right, as draconian as he is. All right, he's also a hoe. All right, which means he's gonna speak softly, but really it's gonna be guised with something demonic and wicked and evil and aggressive. All right, and that's what these words mean. They sound on the surface level benign, like you're being a compassionate person, but it's really evil, man. All right, it's like a cyanide pill wrapped in cheese, or whatever your favorite snack is. All right, that's what he's doing. All right. It says economic growth and social inclusion. Whenever you hear that, social inclusion, you know what that means. That means what that really is code for is like if you don't accept rainbow people, you going to jail. That's what this means, man. Food security and agriculture means you got to eat bug sandwiches. All right. You got to eat this new insect protein we came up with. You can't eat beef or cow. Matter of fact, we're going to shut the farms down because we got to make sure, the climate and food and all that is one. Like he knows, like he understands nature, man. All right. Gender parity. All right. That's code for no men. Okay. That's code for women encompassing a man. All right. It has nothing to do with fairness, like he's trying to use the word parity, man. But the scriptures talk about the days when a woman shall encompass a man, man. All right. What he's really trying to do is make people fatherless, set the woman up. And that's what we see. Future of the financial global system. This is all nonsense, man. International trade and investment. That's that one world order. All right. So when you see these words, just know that's this guy's MO. That's how he gets down, man. As a matter of fact, I'll get it. Psalm 55 and 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. All right. And that's how the devil, that's how the Lord describes the devil, man. This guy. All right. So Locke says his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, man. So he's speaking soft and peaceably, but meanwhile, where's all his money going? Into military bases, into the new financial system. That's where it's going. Forgive me, Salakia. So that's where this is going. And you can't be under any illusion of what this guy is about. All right.
An obstacle to that. And one thing that we are seeing and watching very closely there is because they're using a tool to weaken individual countries through mass illegal immigration. Of course, that's what's led to the collapse of Mark Rutte's government in Holland.
Right. Now, the farmer citizen movement, though, was one of the things that helped to succeed at pushing back. But the European Union already approved a plan to buy out livestock farm and force these farmers to sign a promise not to start farms anywhere else. That's still happening, right? Despite protests. So that bit of it is going to implode. Is there anything you think that can be done about that?
Well, it's actually really quite serious, Natalie. I'm glad you brought that point up because what the European Union have now gone and said to these Dutch farmers is that if you resist the Rutte government, they said this prior to the collapse of his government, they said if you resist us, we are going to stop you farming anywhere else in the European Union member states. Now you have to remember these people are farmers. That's all they know. It's all they've ever done. So that threat is a very real threat. It's
Right. It's not
completely
like they
undemocratic.
know how to go and farm in Africa then. It's
Right. They
regional.
don't. Esau don't give a
Well,
damn, man.
it's European wide, but I mean, it's a big threat to them. If
Yeah.
they dare to resist, Natalie, then they're going to get stopped from farming anywhere within the member states. So it's a very very serious thing, and I think that what's happened with the Dutch government actually, though, might be the crack in the army that we need to see. If they're now seen to be getting pushed back, it will galvanize further support. And it's going to mean that people will regain their courage and their momentum. And I think we're starting to see evidence of that in Holland right now. I spoke to Mr. Roebels, who is the leader of the Farmers Defence Force in Holland. They have thousands of members. They're very organised. And what I would like to see, Natalie, happening is that ranchers in America, farmers in the UK, food producers, wherever they might be, start to join forces and start to.
So, Lockie, I found it. This is First Maccabees 1:41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. All right. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. All right. So this has been done before. The Lord has had this devil run the same play again. And then only the watchmen are going to be able to call this out and tell you what's really going on. All right. And break it down the way that it should be. All right. So it says, let me go back to Romans 8. All right. Because he's destroying farms. He's destroying the oceans. And it's all under the guise to make things better for you. But what is he really doing? This guy's a psychopath, man. Okay? This would be like a complete lunatic psycho that convinced you that he's a heart surgeon. All right? And he's so good with his words, he's convinced you that he's went to school and did all of these different things, and he's got you opened up on a on a table, man. All right, now you got a psychopath cutting and moving shit around in all your. That's what this guy is, man. He's a psycho, and these people have let him get that much power and that much ingrained into their cabinets, into their governments, and now that grip, his life, your life is in his hands now. Because of what you gave him, man. All right. And we don't feel bad because most of you are heathen. Most of you are Edomites that are going to die by this guy's hand. All right. You're going to have a lot of heathen left. They got a lot of heathen going to die, but a lot of heathen are going to be left because they're going to be, working in those fields in the kingdom, man. All right. It says, this is Romans 8 and 20. It says, for the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. This is talking about all of creation. Really, is the main subject here is Jake, but it really applies to everything created. All animals and everything, man. All right, because why did the Lord create all of those animals before the flood? Just if he knew he was going to destroy them. All right. There's animals here in America the Lord allowed to be born. They're going to be burnt up. All right. So that's the creatures made subject to vanity, but it says subjected the same in hope, man. All right. So we have hope. It says, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High. All right. Really, it's talking about Jake, but it's going to be animals are going to get the benefit of Israelites ruling of the earth, man. All right. It says verse 22, For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. All right. So everything is tired. Everything is just giving up. We're all fucking through, man. All right. These people are edgy on the roads and traffic incidents. They're waiting to cut you off, to flip you off. They're ready to say something. People are looking at you all kind of weird. Tension in this place is at an all-time high, man. And these people are emptier than ever. They have nothing that fulfills them. People aren't even really into their hobbies like that anymore, man. All right. It says, and not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves. So it's saying even us. Okay. The elect, the hopeful elect, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. For we are saved by hope, but that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doeth he yet hope for, man? So Paul is basically saying, man, it's not going to look like we're going to be able to win, man. We're not going to be able to see it, because if you could see it, then it wouldn't be hope. Hope wouldn't be necessary. All right. That goes into, we battle not against flesh and blood. All right. But war, and principalities, and powers. All right. But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. All right. So it only requires patience if you can't see it, if you don't know when it's coming. Okay. And that's how that works. All right. We go to Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged. To the dead, that's the heathen, man. All right. It says, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name. All right. So that's a reward for us in the time when the Lord comes back. What's going to be happening? One, the elect are going to be saved and redeemed. All right. And let's read. And them that fear thy name, small and great. It says, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. All right. So who's destroying the earth, man? So at the same time we're getting delivered, the guy that's destroying the earth is going to be destroyed, man. What time are we in? Who is this speaking about? All right. This is why we need to be in rulership, man. This is the last precept, and I'll close it out here. This is Isaiah 55:12. For ye shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. All right. This is talking about the deliverance of Israel, man. When we take over. All right. When this guy is out of he's out of his throne. He's kicked out. He's in slavery now. He's being destroyed himself. What happens? For ye shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing. All right. And all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. All right. You can also read this in Isaiah 14. If you go up to verse 8 and verse 7, it says, Isaiah 14:7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. All right. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us, man. All right. So that all was written, man. Basically written twice. All right. It's going to be a glorious day when this guy is finally out of there. The scriptures speak about in Isaiah 25, the covering cast being lifted, man. It's going to literally look like a dark filter is removed off the earth. When you go outside, everything's going to look better. You're going to smell again. All right. Yeah, we can't really fathom how much destruction and how much demonic energy he's put into this place, man. Everything that we feel, the way we wake up, from the thing that we breathe in to the things that we look at, the sounds and vibrations we hear, all these frequencies and why, it's just, This shit is gotta go, man. All right. It says, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree. These are good smelling trees, man. All right, that have great wood, that are rapidly growing trees as well. All right. It says, and it shall be to the Lord Yahweh for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. All right. So when this kingdom is established, that is it. That's a wrap. All right. So I'll end it there, man. Lord willing, this was edifying. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. Wa Abad Babal and Shalom.